Herzlich willkommen zum zweiten Tag unseres Festivals Musica Sacra international live aus der Bayerischen Musikakademie in Marktoberdorf. Hier bei uns im Studio sitzt das Ensemble Misafir. Sie repräsentieren die Musik des Islam. Unter der Leitung von Murat Koşkun, Perkussion und Gesang, spielen heute Muhittin Kemal die Kanun und Mehmet Ungan die Ud. In den Ateliers vermitteln die teilnehmenden Ensembles Wissen über ihre Musik, Kultur und Religion. Ich freue mich, dass Sie heute hier sind und uns zwei verschiedene Sufi-Traditionen vorstellen. A warm welcome to the second day of the Festival Musica Sacra International, live from the Bavarian Musica Academy in Marktoberdorf. Here with us in our studio is the Ensemble Misafir. They represent the music of the Islam. Under the direction of Murat Koşkun, percussion and vocals, today Muhittin Kemal plays the Kanun and Mehmet Ungan the Ud. The so-called ateliers are workshops in which the participating ensembles impart knowledge about their music, culture and religion. I am very happy that Misafir is here today to introduce us to two different Sufi traditions. Das Atelier von Misafir dauert rund 40 Minuten. Es wird in Englisch sein und Sie können uns während der Veranstaltung gerne Fragen stellen. Schreiben Sie sie einfach in unserem Chat und wir sammeln dann diese Fragen und am Ende des Ateliers werde ich Ihre Fragen dem Ensemble stellen. The atelier of the Ensemble Misafir lasts about 40 minutes. It will be held in English. You are very welcome to ask us questions in our chat. We will collect them and at the end I will ask the ensemble these questions. Thank you very much, Murat Koşkun and Ensemble Misafir. We are happy to have you here. Vielen Dank, Murat Koşkun und Ensemble Misafir.
Allah, Allah, ya Allah, Allah, Allahu, Allah, Allah, Allah, ya Allah, Allah, Allahu.
welcome to our atelier. I'm happy to be here. We are happy to be here. Mehmet Ungan, my friends, Muhittin Kemal, and we already had one concert or one small performance yesterday evening, and today we wanted to talk a little bit about the music that we presented yesterday. We have not that much time, I know. So therefore it's maybe important that you can write us your questions in the chat, right? Because this is for us much more important that we have an interactive afternoon. So please feel free to write your questions, and we are open to answer the questions. So today we will talk a little bit about the instruments, and we have many instruments here, so just a little bit that you have an idea about rhythms, about the tonality, the makam system, but especially about the different, let me say, the Anatolian Sufi traditions, and we will give you many, many examples because it's very important that you also listen to the music, listen to the difference, so that you can really understand and feel the music. So therefore, it's, as I said, it's so important. If you have any questions, please write us in the chat and we can talk afterwards. So I wanted to start with the instruments. I didn't bring all my instruments with me, so just a small idea that you have. So in general, rhythm is so in many cultures, it's not specific for Turkish Sufi music. In many cultures and in many Sufi traditions also, it's one of the main instruments, let me say. And so the instruments are responsible for the pulsation, right? So as you could hear, maybe here also, the drum is giving the pulsation, vroom, vroom, vroom. And therefore, especially the sound, the deep sounds they have an effect on your body also. So it's not only an instrument that is, let me say, like a musical instrument. So no, it's also the sound that is influencing, affecting your body, especially when you are sitting and when you are in the back of the instrument, because all the vibrations, all the waves of the drum, they come directly to your body, directly to your heart. So you are very connected with the instruments. And therefore, especially the bass sound, so this influences also the player. So then the other thing is the frequency, so the meter, the pulse, the tempo, right? I can play very slow. And you can hear the sound is very long sound. And you can transform the pulsation, you can do it faster. And also this gives an effect to yourself, to your breath also. So the drum, the pulsation, the movement is very connected to your breath and to your heart, also the frequencies. And I think this is something that is not only connected with Anatolian Sufi tradition. So this is something that we can say a general phenomena that also is used in this kind of tradition. And so there are different moments that is connected to the pulse and to the effect of, let me say, kind of trance, right? So if we speak from trance, we have different kinds of trance, but also this would be a discussion about 2 hours, 3 hours, just about one idea of trance. But let me say the effect for example, we have long cycles also in Turkish Sufi music, like 14 beats and even longer, but I will just explain some and one example in a 14 beat. So it's like a mandala here, right? So the Mandala Principle is very important if you play the rhythm, and also the idea of shorting. The rhythm is getting shorter, and we go closer to the center, and this gives an effect of speeding up. So we stay in the same pulsation, but we just shorten the whole structure. So the meter is getting shorter, and this gives us the feeling that everything is getting forward and the pulsation. So the 14 beat, for example, is like we have 14. So then what happens, the next step is to make the half, right? So the whole meter is going to 7 instead of dum, da, dum, da, dum, da, da, da, dum, da, dum, da, dum, da, dum, da, dum, da, dum, da. So we already made half of the rhythm. Now we make even shorter. We go to 5. Dum, dum, dum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Dum, da, da. And we still have the pulsation here. Da, da, da. And now we go to the 4. Dum, da, da, dum. Go to the 3 and 1, da da dum. And from the 3 we go to the 2, dum. Yeah, so we have the micro timing, dum da dum da, and by just cutting the whole phrases, we shorten the rhythm, and this gives the typical effect of speeding up. So the other element what we use is to speed up. So that was an example in the first piece that we played. You realize at the end we speed up. So this is a very natural effect that you start. It's also, as I said, it's also energetic with the body. The other is using the voice. So you have the pulsation of the drum, of the accents, right? So this gives another effect on the heart. And so everything is supporting the so-called trance, you can say. Another effect is, I would just show you one more instrument. This is erbane. This is played in southeast Turkey, traditional Kurdish instrument. It's also played in Iran, in north of Iraq. They call it in Iran the daf. And here, so here it's not only the drum sound, it's also this is a quite loud instrument. Right? So, and if you stand behind this instrument, if you play it very loud, so you will hear it. It's not only the pulsation, it's not only the energy, it's also the loudness of the drum that gives an effect to your ear, and that can also support to bring you in this kind of trance. And imagine we are 10 drummers here in the room, and yes, better not. So loudness is also one of the elements that is used for in Sufi music or in trance music. Yes, so just small words, and you have rings here inside, as you can see.
Sometimes these rings are flying on the stage.
Exactly. Right. And also here you can use some typical rhythms and that are connected with the drum and with the voice. For example, the rhythms high, high, high, Allah, high, high, high, Allah, high. Right? So you speak more or less the same what you are playing, and this is supporting. So the drum is affecting your voice, and the voice is affecting the drum. And then again, the element of the shorting, high, Allah, high, Allah. So the frequency is getting shorter. And then you can do it shorter. Allah, Allah. Right, and if you do this like 20 minutes, you will realize that something happens here. And also there are other rhythms like 10, Hi Allah, Allah, Hi Allah, Allah, Hi Allah, Allah, Hi. As you see, the voice and the rhythm is very close together, and there are different elements we will also listen later in the other songs. Yeah, and in general, the drums, or let me say there is a big relationship between shamanic tradition from Central Asia and the so-called Alevite tradition. This is rural. This was supposed to be a rural religious tradition, but now it's all over the Turkey, so you cannot say it's in a specific place. It was in the Taurus Mountains, and they developed their music, and many influences came from the shamanic tradition. Like the drummer was like the ceremony master, and so he was also in the same time the healer. So when you were ill or you were sick, you go to the shaman. So this element or this idea you can find in the Alevi tradition, but in the Alevi tradition the drums are not that important. But in the Alevi tradition the balama and other string instruments that are very close to the balama are important, like kopuz and whatever.
Jura.
Small
Divan.
one.
Divan, dede sazı. Yes. It's the main instrument of the Alevi tradition.
So you can say maybe, this is not the official, but for me it's like the shaman in Central Asia who is playing the drum is the shaman of the Alevi on the balama. He's singing because also he has a kind of, as I said, the leader of the rituals, and also in some cases the healer, right? Healing people.
And also the guy who have the contact to the nature, which is an extremely important part in the shamanism and also in the Alevi Bektashi tradition.
Yeah.
Ozan, aşık, the lower.
Yeah.
Tabiata aşık.
So ashik they are called the ashik also. So we have our ashik here, the one who is loving. So the love is for sure for God, but to the people, but also especially for the nature. And you can find many songs that are connected to nature. And so therefore the ashik is burning inside, right? He has the fire. And yes, maybe we can listen to one music. So the Alevi, maybe the tradition is very close to the Shia philosophy or the Shia, and they, for example, the 12 Imam. It will take too long when I explain a lot, but so especially Ali and Hassan Hussein, these Imams, they are also very important, and they have many songs, many, how do you say in English?
Duaz Imam.
Yes, Duaz Imam
Prayer.
is like a prayer.
Lobpreisung.
Yes. Yes, so we can say a prayer to these imams, right? Yes. And is played only by Bağlama and by the singer.
Medet Allah medet, medet ya Ali, bizi dergahından mahrum eyleme, Ninkar Hacı, Bektaşlı Veli, bizi dergahından mahrum eyleme. Muhammed Mustafa Hatem Hakkı için bizi dergahından mahrum eyleme, bizi dergahından, bizi dergahından mahrum eyleme. Hü Ali hü Wir haben es in Kürze, es geht ja viel länger eigentlich.
Yeah. So this is normally is much longer, right? This in general, the music we will play is normally much longer, but we just give you an idea. We shorten the pieces so that you have an
Only
idea
a small
about the sound.
taste.
Yeah. And in the Alevi tradition, they have also the Sema. Maybe this is some important thing. The Sema is also ceremony, and the people are turning round. It's similar. No, it's not similar, but the turning round is like the whirling dervishes, right? So there is a connection between whirling and the transcendences. So between the music and the rituals, they are all connected in central Anatolia. And in the Sema, so we will play one music for the Sema, right?
Değiş.
And this is called Deish, right? Mm-hmm.
Bakıp cemale yare hü çağrılan dost dil oldu pare pare hü çağrılan
Yeah, so Hü, Mehmet, what is the meaning of Hü?
Wie wir Hu, also der also Andeutung an göttlichen Substanz, Urquelle. Manche sagen Hu, manche sagen Hü, also die Aleten sagen mehr Hü.
And it means the spring of godness,
Yes.
something like this.
Yeah.
He.
He, yes. It's like he. Yeah.
Or she.
Or she, yes. Yeah, so now we go to a very close direction of the Alevi tradition, the Bektashi, so they are very close. But the difference, maybe you want to explain a little bit, Muhittin, about the Bektashi.
How is it? The Bektashis are more in the era of the Aegean until the Balkans, especially the head of the Janitschars, who was the elite fighters by the Ottoman Empire, was trained especially in the religious part by the Bektashi dervishes. And by the Bektashis is the relationship to the nature also extremely important, and they have a bit different view. It's not like the same how it's by the Alevi tradition. It's affected a bit more in a different music. It's not, the bağlama is not the main instrument, but it's still the very, very important instrument. And in the era what we call today Macedonia, Albania, Bosnian, the East European part, especially when it was a part of the Ottoman Empire, this region are affected a lot. And still today we have also this Bektashi tekkes, the house of the Bektashis, where the people make their ceremonies. And what we play now?
Haydar, Haydar.
Haydar, Haydar.
And maybe also the instrumentation is a little bit different from the Alevi, because in Alevi we said the bağlama, and now we have...
in the Bektashi tradition, we use more and more the instruments, what we call the part of the classic Turkish music today, or classic Ottoman music. And one of the instruments, of course, there is much more percussion included. Oud is also a very important instrument, which is, we can call this as Kurzzeitslaute, short, long load, and which is, by the way, the grandfather of the guitar, what we know today, so more or less. And it plays without frets, and all in the complete era of the Arab music tradition here until the Sahara, this instrument is like that what the bağlama is for the Turks. In every house we have nearly a oud or oud player. The canon, which is looked like this, have an interesting history. It's nearly 1,000 years old, and in Germany we call them sometimes as Zither, which is not true, especially in the Barriera era. With Murat we had a lot of discussions about them, how we call this, and then we found a description which is called Orientalische Schoßharfe, Oriental
lap harps.
Lap harps, yeah, that we called. And during the concert, I asked, okay, we don't have like a santur or like a sitar steel strings. We have, today we use PVF strings, plastic strings, and when we close our eyes and listen to them, it sounds like a bit like a harp. The specialty of all this music tradition is that we use the tonality of the modal music tradition. That means we use microtones. In all different eras, we have different understandings of microtones, what we called in makam, which is a kind of scale, harmonic mol 5 or major or only mol. And Usually we play this with rings and, how we call this? Plectrins, yes, and the picks of our fingers. So that means we are able to play this like hitting the strings. Or we play with arpeggios or chords. And so, in the Bektashi music tradition, we use also these makams and microtonalities, which gives us the opportunity to create a different emotional feeling during the mantra of this music tradition.
Yeah.
So, das Gemeinsame, vielleicht muss man sagen, Ali und Bektashi ist Ahlul Bayt. Ahlul Bayt, Haus des Propheten. Der Ali, seine Söhne sind sehr wichtig. Ob man jetzt typisch anatolische Ali Gesänge hat oder etwas westlich orientierte Musikstil, wie genannt Nefes. So, der Inhalt von beiden ist Ahlul Bayt immer wieder. Wiederkehrend Ali oder Haidar.
Yeah.
Oder diese vielleicht.
So the common thing of the Alevi and the Bektashi is the Ahlul Bayt, the house of the Prophet Muhammad, and also therefore Ali. So they praise, both of them, they praise Ali on the songs. Yeah. So as we have not so much time, maybe we can play one of them.
Okay. Haydar'ı mı çalalım?
Hangisi?
Haydar'ı.
Haydar.
Haydi.
Ben melame hırkasını kendim yedim enime. Ben melame hırkasını kendim yedim kendime. Ararız şişesini taşa çaldım kime ne? Ah Haydar Haydar taşa çaldım kime ne? Ararız şişesini taşa çaldım kime ne? Ah Haydar Haydar taşa çaldım kime ne?
Yes, so we have 3 minutes, 4 minutes left.
Okay.
Yes.
Then ney.
So we can just introduce maybe.
Hocam, can you show the ney, please?
Yes.
The ney is the main instrument which we use in the Mevlevi tradition. Sorry, yeah, and the ney is nearly the oldest one what we found. It was of the era of Iran. It's more than 4,500 years old. There is a very nice example in the Museum of Pennsylvania, and the ney represents the perfect human. That means inside is empty, but full of nice and good energy. And as you can listen in the Ney Taksim, the voice have a seriously mystical touch.
Aşkın aldı benden beni, bana seni görerek seni. Aşkın aldı benden beni, bana seni görerek seni. Ben yanarım günü günü, bana seni görerek seni. Ben yanarım günü günü, bana seni görerek seni. Allah, Allah, Yunus durup benim adım, günü geçtikçe arada. Yunus durup benim artar oldum. İki cihanda maksudum, bana seni görerek seni, bana seni görerek seni.
Let's speak a few minutes about the Mevlevi tradition.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Mevlevi tradition is the second influence of this tradition of the Sufi music. It is based on Mevlana Jalaluddin Rumi, who was born in Afghanistan today, moved to Tabriz, and then to Iran, and then find the middle point of his life in the era what we call today in Konya, Turkey. And he is more or less the founder of the Mevlevi tradition, and especially a lot of people know this tradition in the context of the whirling dervishes. And the ney and also the philosophy behind the Mevlevi tradition is to be a complete and pure human, which speaks and use more and more the pureness of love. As I'm right? Or?
Yeah, yeah. So, yes, we could explain, of course, much more, but...
time is running.
Yes, so maybe if you have any questions, and you can ask us.
Thank you. Thank you, Murat Koshkun, Muhittin Kemal, and Mehmet Ungan for this interesting insight. We have some questions in our chat. The first is, Murat, as you are also playing klezmer music, I would like to ask you how you feel to play Jewish music on the one hand and Sufi music on the other hand.
So, honestly, for me there is no difference. So I don't want to say I don't understand the question, because I understand the question, because I think for many people this is like there is a contrast, or there is maybe even a problem. Some people say, wow, how can you play Jewish music and Muslim music? I know these people. It's not that you are thinking like this, but I think this is, as a musician, or for me personally, and also I think I can speak in our name, So music is something that is over any form, any religion. So for me, the important thing is my colleagues. So when I feel comfortable with my colleagues, when they are good musicians, when I like them, because this is very important. So this is the most important thing. And the spirit. For me, the musician is very important, the spirit of the musician. And for me, for example, when I play with you, I have your spirit, I like your spirit, and I think we are connected together. The same is when I do klezmer music with Gyora Feitman or someone else, because the musicians who do this music, they have a special spirit, and I think the spirituality is that what connected us. It's not about Jewish tradition or Korean shaman music, because I also play with Korean shaman music, because of course I have to learn a little bit the rhythms and the forms, but at the end it's not the music that is separating us. It's more the spirit, or opposite. The spirit brings us together. So I think this is what is connecting us and what gives us the power. And maybe for the future, this is the big thing that maybe can help us to bring us together.
To connect
the
each other.
Spirit.
To connect each other.
To connect each
and
other.
The other question is, what's the difference about the classical European music and Sufi music, or when we play in the church with Christian musicians? I think what we have everybody together is the point that we don't think in borders or in restrictions. We think in music, and if the spirit of the music is fine, then the rest is also for us fine.
Yes, it's also my...
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So thank you. And the next question is, how long does a Sema ritual last and how is it structured?
Sema or Sema?
Sema, I think.
Sema.
Without H, without H.
With an H.
With H, okay.
Sema.
Alevi tradition hocam.
Neydi soru tamam.
Ne kadar sürüyor?
Es gibt bestimmte Formen, das ich denke schon, weil es auch sozialen Aspekt hat, Sema, Jam genannt, alles in einem, könnte stundenlang gehen. Aber nur Sema am Part, es ist begrenzt auf drei Teile, das könnte höchstens 45 Minuten dauern.
The Sema part is, you can do this also the whole night long, but the main essence are 3 parts, which have, what you said? 45 minutes until 1 hour, because you have to imagine you're whiling more than 45 minutes, which is not an easy job. Yeah. Also in trance, not an easy job.
Okay, there are 2 more questions. One is very interesting even for us. Why is instrumental playing normally not allowed in mosques?
Very nice question.
Das stimmt nicht ganz.
The trueness is we don't know why is not. What we know is that once a time there was a possibility to play with string instruments or bow instruments in mosque and make this music tradition. The only one instrument what is today allowed is frame drum or drum, not darbuka, usually drum. Here, there's a big difference, and ney also. But in general, we don't know this. What's the reason really?
Es gibt Diskussionen. Viele behaupten, dass es total verboten ist, viele behaupten, dass es nicht ist, viele sind in der Mitte, je nach Musik, sehr unterschiedlich. Hat aber, das ist später entwickelt, aber in Islam ist nirgendwo ist 100%iges Verbot, nirgendwo. Es gibt viele Bücher, die das auch beweisen, direkt vom Koran.
There is no written that it's forbidden to make music in the mosque. Of course, extremely dancing music will be never allowed, but nobody who can think in rational structures will be make dancing music in the church. But seriously, we don't know, and I think we don't understand this.
Wir spielen überall.
So thank you. One more question, and maybe you can give us a short answer. How is this typical Islamic singing done?
Whoa.
Yeah?
Is there a typical Islamic singing? Yani,
Soru neydi hocam?
I think hani, dini müzik nasıl okunuyor?
Bir sürü formu var. Wir haben ja mindestens 30 Formen vom religiösen Gesänge allein in der Moschee. Ohne Instrument haben wir 10 bis 15.
We have more than 30 different forms, but what we can say, usually all these forms based on modal music, and but there is not the one who is totally right or the one who is totally not allowed. It's a very beautiful question. I think we have to think about them maybe a bit longer or maybe research.
Es gibt klare Formen, was man in der Moschee singen kann. Also der Muezzin oder der Vorbeter. Es gibt Formen, die man morgens singt, welchen Raga, welchen Makam, beziehungsweise morgens, Mittag, abends, zu religiösen Festen, welchen Tag, zu Geburtstagen von Propheten oder Heiligen oder so. Es gibt so viele Formen. Allein dafür bräuchten wir 2 Stunden. Also, es gibt aber sehr interessante, sicherlich, da muss man überhaupt die religiöse Musik, was wir tun, ist auch religiös, aber das ist dann eben Ilahi, was wir tun, ist Ilahes, Loblieder, einfach Lobgesänge. So, es gibt in dieser Art mindestens 15 Formen, allein religiös. Ja.
So, thank you very, very much. Gleich im Anschluss können Sie das Atelier von Renke Hashimoto erleben, einer Zen-Meisterin, die uns die Musik der Shakuhachi, einer traditionellen japanischen Bambusflöte, vorstellt. Directly afterwards, you can experience the Atelier of Renke Hashimoto. A Zen master will introduce us to the music of the Shakuhachi, a traditional bamboo flute. Thank you very much, Ensemble Misafir. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, behind the screens. See you soon.